Christina, and we're the Gorgeous Geeks, and we're here today to talk about Smallville Season 2, the best and the worst episodes. You voted, and we also picked, so we're going to talk about the worst right now. So, the worst episode that people voted on
was The Visitor.
And I don't know why, actually.
Well, I think it was the whole thing of that he could be Kryptonian.
And everyone's like, he's the last son, duh.
Right, and right. I think that's what it was, and it's kind of like, it has nothing to do with that, and then Clark's like, oh my goodness, it could be...
And everyone's like, no, it's not.
Yeah, and then also, he was so adamant about that, but it's kind of like he wants to know about where he came from, but then he doesn't want to know about where he came from, and so it's kind of like, make up your mind.
And then it's like, he's healing people, he's not, you know... super strength, you know, but I mean, he doesn't know much about.
And no one cared about that stupid horse.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's the thing. The only thing
no one cared
I can
about
think
the
of,
horse.
I don't think it was like out of all the episodes, I would not say that that is the worst one. But I mean, you guys voted, that's what you picked. But I think maybe it did, you know, lack a little luster, and maybe it was really boring with that horse. Because who did care about Whitney's horse? You know, honestly. So
like, it's not like a Disney movie for the kids.
Yeah.
Like, you know, go, horsey, go! It wasn't like that. So it's kind of like, I don't care at all whatsoever.
You know, but some people really do like animals, but I don't think it was like... I mean, it was like...
I like animals
Whitney's the
too.
enemy! And he's finally gone! And Claunas are like, woo! And then she's like, Whitney's horse! And Clark is trying to get on her good side and take care of the horse.
I like animals too, and I love horses, but that was not that feel-good, save the horse type of thing.
Yeah,
it was a I don't care type of thing.
Yeah, that was like, the Klana arc of the episode was about a horse. Not one of Lana's horses. Whitney's horse.
And so that was voted the worst. There's a couple things I didn't like that season. I just didn't like the whole Tina Greer.
Visage is was my worst. Is it your worst?
It's either that or the cave, because I just did not like the
well,
cave.
we're just gonna say that one because I didn't like Skinwalkers, but that one is the top of my list. So because like, if you guys know us, you know we've complained about the shapeshift bone thing before.
Because that was the explanation they gave, like, oh, she can move her bones. I'm like, well, if she can move her bones, then how come she can change her hair color? How come she can have a sex change? You know,
and then Clark can use X-ray vision. He's like, oh, her bones are glowing green. But you fall apart every time you get an extra Jitter Man from the episode Jitter. But if Tina Greer, you have to use X-ray vision to know. Does she have lead skin?
Yeah, it was just odd.
Which you wouldn't be able to see if that was the case.
It would have been better if they would have said, oh, well, it's because it's gotten to her molecular structure.
And then they decided to bring her back again. And maybe there was a mystery of, like, what's going on with Whitney? Why is he a freak? And then you found out it was her, and it was like, whoa, that is weird. Whoa, that is, like, really weird.
Yeah, it's like
and
really
you shouldn't have brought her back because it wasn't good the first time. She's not good the second time. And it's even worse that you reminded us of how bad she was by bringing her back. Like, when something bad happens, you know, just acknowledge it and move on. Like,
pretend it was.
Yeah, like Namor and Puffer Fish powers. I don't see that happening in the comic books now. You know, just don't talk about it.
It wasn't there to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it was just creepy, and it was just weird. I know there's been a lot of movies with, like, you know, like the stalker, like, I want to be you.
No, how come everybody, I can understand, well, I can understand it. I don't agree with it. I think it's crazy, but there's all the little psycho Bieber fans that'll threaten people, give death threats for people who win awards that they felt Justin should have won, or if you say something about Miley Cyrus, you'll get attacked on YouTube. It's happened. People are crazy upset. I understand people obsessed with maybe these celebrities and stuff, but how come everybody on Smallville is so Lana crazy? How many stalkers can one person have?
I don't know.
Like, Tina Greer was like the start, and she came back for her sequel. But
she
then
wasn't
it just
the start. The Bug Boy was the start.
Yeah,
that was
Bug Boy
episode
was
2
the start.
of season 1.
So she wasn't even the start. It's just a pattern that just continued.
I would have moved out of Smallville.
Heck
like,
yeah.
Seriously, crazy. But anyways, let's go on. I didn't care for Skinwalker that much.
I didn't like the Kawachi Caves.
I thought it was stupid.
I'm like, what is up with these caves?
Because I was worried that they're gonna make that his fortress of solitude. That's what I was upset about. The barn is his
fortress of solitude.
Yeah, sure. And so I was worried about that, and that, you know,
that's where he stores all of his neat little devices.
And then he fell in love with that girl, with the Indian girl, and Kyla, and I was kind of like, okay, she's pretty and everything.
But they're like, that's a picture of his love. Oh, this bracelet is passed down to my family. Make out with me, Clark! Woo!
Yeah, but I didn't like the whole caves period. Like, I was just like, bring on the fortress. I can't.
Yeah, I was like on edge. I'm like, well, how did all this happen? I guess they explained it, and Jor-El came back from the past, and yada yada yada, and left crap in there, and those people who knew them drew those pictures, and I personally didn't like it. Okay. Especially at the time. But you know, one of the episodes I really didn't like, I don't know how people feel about this, I really didn't like Exodus either. Which was the season 2 finale. Because I know a lot of stuff happened in it, but I just remember being so enraged by the end of the episode. I'm like, Jor-El is not a jerk. Why are they making him a jerk? Clark is such an idiot. Like, that was the height of his, like, idiocy. And that's when it, like, really started. When you're like, wow, Clark is an idiot. And the baby died.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's
like, so stupid.
And he's running away from Jor-El because he doesn't want to be bad or whatever. So he puts on a ring, the red kryptonite ring, and drives off knowing that he is not a very good person when he puts that on. So,
oh, yeah.
I was just baffled. And I remember being angry.
Yeah.
And I remember the premiere of the next season, and we're like, why wasn't this episode the finale of last season? Because I remember everyone was like, that sucked! I remember!
And I was highly upset. I was just... But it did make you tune in for the next season, because you wanted everything to be resolved, though.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't... But I wouldn't say Exodus was terrible. You just didn't like how it was. And it's not like it didn't make sense, or the acting was terrible.
No, it made sense.
But it was just that what happened
Clark
upset
brain,
you.
I guess it made sense.
You know. It was the beginning of, Clark's...
Oh, I just didn't like what they did. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's just it. But Tina Greer, not cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so, best episodes. Your favorite episode was Insurgents, and...
I liked that episode.
That was a really good episode.
Just the whole, the Luthers and the Kents, and then
Lionel's creepy love for Martha.
Yeah, for Martha.
Jonathan, not paranoid. Obviously, he wasn't paranoid.
Yeah, and Jonathan was so enraged.
I want you to work in Metropolis. Oh, it's putting us straight. Ha ha ha, here's a watch from me. And it says, to Martha, with affection. How was she not supposed to go? They should have just said, dear Martha, I'm seducing you.
Yeah.
That's what it just should have said.
Yeah. And so I just love the whole evil chemistry of, him wanting Martha, and Jonathan really, really hates him, and like nobody's listening to him about how much he hates, Lex and Lionel, and Clark this time, he was really getting upset with Lex, like, they're like best buds, but he's really starting to get upset with the Luthers because, Martha was, locked in the building, or, whatever. And so...
And Clark had to make his first big leap, and I think at that point we're like, well, if he can't fly, at least, we got to see him leap. So that was cool. And then he goes in the building, and then the safe that these burglars are after, they open it up. And Lionel warned him, he's like, there's nothing in there of value for you guys. Which, like, they didn't believe him, and they open it up, and here's all this kryptonite. Cue Clark.
Like, ow, mommy, help me, I'm hurt. I really love that episode, and I think that was my favorite episode, my pick as well, because I just love the Luthers. I love the Luthers on the show. If it wasn't for Michael Rosenbaum and John Glover, I don't think that show would have been as good as it was.
No.
I think they were just so excellent.
I mean, in John Snyder and Annette O'Toole, like, I mean, they were just so great. And I just was watching some clips earlier, and I'm just like, man, John is fine. Like, man, that man.
He's a nice looking man. He aged nicely. So, but it was just, it was great. I loved it.
Some other good ones, Rush had a lot of drama. I don't know about all the mechanics of it, looking back of it, but it had a lot of drama and things were happening. And there's sometimes those things are hard for me to watch when you see your characters and they just go bad all of a sudden. It's like I can't watch the mess they're getting into. It's very difficult for me to watch this. and Chloe and Pete just was like a mess for Clark. He was such drama for Clark because he knew the secrets and he was like blurring it. He's like, "Don't mess with me. Clark's an alien." He's like, "Shh, shh." He's like, "Clark's an alien." And so that was a mess. And then Chloe got infected with that thing, and then when Pete put that ring on Clark, and then it was just a trio of badness. And at that point, you made out in front of Lana. It's like, no.
Yeah, because at that point, you wanted Lana and Clark to be together. Then Lana tells him like, "Well, I know why Pete and Chloe did what they did, but why did you do what you did?" And he's like, "I can't tell her. I can't tell her."
I liked at the end how Chloe was like, "Well, how did your date with Clark go?" And she's like, "Well, he ruined it because he made out with some girl, but she didn't tell her that she was the girl." And so I'm like, that's interesting. Red was the first introduction of the red kryptonite, which repeatedly gets used and used and used over and over again. They abuse that privilege. And then Heat was another really good one
I loved Heat. I thought that was such a clever, it was such an obvious and clever way to bring in the Heat vision, and I just thought it was great. I just loved it.
That's another one you're like, because the teacher could manipulate people, and she manipulated Jonathan at one point, didn't she? And it's like, I can't watch this.
And that brought upon Lex's first fiance. Lex's first fiance. And it was, I liked that episode a lot. I have to mention Dichotic because JTT was in there and I had a crush on Jonathan Taylor Thomas, just like many other girls, females my age or younger, hopefully not older. When he came on the show, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I haven't seen you since Home Improvement." So it was cool seeing him again. So there was a lot of good things.
It was a good season.
It was a good season.
Did not like how it ended.
Yeah. Oh man, it was just like, oh my goodness, Clark is an idiot.
And then in Rosetta, that's the episode that had a guest appearance from Christopher Reeve.
Yeah.
Which was the second highest on the list. So, people tuned in who didn't even watch the show just because Christopher Reeve was going to be on there. Yeah.
Just Christopher Reeve attached to anything Superman. It was just amazing.
I love how they brought back other people who were involved in other Superman projects, and they were a part of Smallville.
Yeah,
Dean Cain. I was like, if I was cool, I'd be like, "Kill me, Dean. We're gonna be together."
You can have my heart, baby. My mind, whatever you want. You just can't take my soul.
I'm like, "Get him, Dean! Get him! Kick his butt!"
Yeah, I kind of felt bad that was the only time I wanted the bad guy to get away. It's like, oh, why don't you just let him kill Chloe so he can have his love? I just felt so bad for him. I felt so bad for him. That's probably because I just love Dean Cain so much.
Yeah.
This wasn't this season, though.
That wasn't this season, no.
It wasn't this season.
I'm just because I like when they bring on those other guest stars.
Okay, well, that's our season 2. Season 1, season 2 is down. So now go on thegorgeousgeeks.com and look up season 3 and vote for your best and worst episode of Smallville.
And yes, and we will be back here next week to discuss it and let the denial that it is over continue. So she's Katrina.
Yep, and that's Christina.
And we're the Gorgeous Geeks.
Hi, I'm Katrina from The Gorgeous Geeks, and I'm here to tell you that we have some swag for you to buy. Like good, great stuff, like this coffee mug.
And what does this say, Katrina?
This is yesterday's science fiction is today's science facts. Ooh. Tastes like geeky. You can go out and buy cool t-shirts, like this nice cool white tank top that says Gorgeous Geek on it. You know you want it. And you can dress it up like this. Or this, or this, or even like this. I'm getting chilly. Geekiness. Or this. No, you can't see it, but it's still there. So go to thegorgeousgeeks.com and buy some swag. Go to thegorgeousgeeks.com to get other t-shirts, keychains, and other cool geeky swag that'll keep you looking fly and still representing your geeky pride.